Hello everyone. Welcome to Shortlisted. Hope you all have an amazing day. In today's video, we are going to talk about 7 weird military weapons and vehicles that failed. Starting with the Apache pistol on number 7. The Apache pistol was like no other gun in terms of its shape, and also in how much it overpromised and then undelivered. As you can see, it tried to combine the effectiveness of a knife, brass knuckle, and a small caliber revolver. But that was all in concept, as in reality the knife was too flimsy and thin. The revolver itself was terrible as it has no barrel, making it inaccurate. Basically it was all showing the pistol was useless. Additionally, its unguarded trigger didn't turn at any points either, as it led to accidents and making it pretty disastrous. But as it was a weapon for just self-defense, which is why it was on last even after being that big of a mess. On number 6 is the HE-177, a Nazi German bomber. The HE-177 had many names such as Flying Coffin and One-Way Bomber. It was so bad that some believe it contributed to Germany's defeat, as it sucked up vulnerable resources into an ineffective aircraft. It was produced in big numbers as it was the only bomber Nazi Germany had at that time, though they were able to make world-first operational jet fighter called the Messerschmitt Me 262, but it was too late. The reason for its failure was that Germans ordered the manufacturer to modify it to dive bomb, which is usually done with light aircraft, which the HE-177 was not. It was too heavy and too big and couldn't do a proper dive without plunging into the ground. On number 5 is the Davy Crockett. It was a tactical nuclear recoilless gun and fired the M388 nuclear projectile that was deployed by the United States during the Cold War. The range of the device varied for different generations. The earlier one had a range of up to 1.5 miles while the later ones had the range of 2.5 miles. The weapon was notoriously inaccurate, although accuracy was not a priority considering the warhead. It was deadlier because of its radiation. The warhead produced an instantly lethal dose of radiation within 500 feet radius, which gets more lethal the more a person goes in. In addition to contamination hazards, the weapon was also dangerous for its users. The firing squad was always at risk along with other people in the vicinity to fall victim of radiation. On number 4 is the Panzer VIII Maus. The Panzer VIII Maus was the heaviest tank ever built, measuring about 33 feet long and 12 feet in height and width and weighing nearly 200 tons. Its secondary gun was a 75mm coaxial gun instead of a machine gun, while its main gun was supposed to be a 128mm monster capable of destroying any tank. But instead, it was fitted with an even bigger 150mm because of Hitler's insistence, who thought 128mm looked like a toy gun on it. The tank itself was immune from almost all tanks and it was armored enough to bounce off shells. Its weight became its downfall as it was too heavy, even bridges couldn't take its weight, and there was no engine powerful enough to give this 200-ton behemoth enough power, and it only had a speed of 8 miles per hour on a hard surface. On number 3 is the Mark 14 torpedo. This torpedo was a U.S. fleet-wide standard torpedo that ran 10 to 12 feet below to what it was intended because of the misaligned depth sensor. It also failed to explode even if the torpedo managed to hit the ship because it had a complex Mark 6 magnetic influence exploder which was tested in New England waters. But the South Pacific were magnetically very different, which make it hard to explode. Worst of all, NTS refused to accept any flaws with its product, and the fixes that did finally correct the torpedoes were affected in the field by submariners tired of returning from patrol with expended torpedoes and nothing to show for it. On number 2 is the Chauchat. The Chauchat was the French Army's light machine gun during World War II and was regarded as one of the worst firearms to have ever gone to production. It was introduced in 1915 and was issued as a standard army weapon. It was a revolutionary weapon, being the truly first light portable automatic firearm that did not require a team of machine gunners but instead could be used by a single person. However, it had many defects which outweigh its good. The condition of World War II exposed it to texts that earned it a reputation of one of the world's worst firearms. One of the problems was the detachable magazine, which was open from one side and allowed dirt, gravel, and mud to get in, which was abundant in World War II and lead to stoppage and malfunction. Also, the magazine was too flimsy and easily damaged, resulting in jamming and stoppage. It also had other problems such as misaligned sight, causing a problem with aiming and screws coming off while firing. The gun was a train wreck and was almost useless in battle. And it's not surprising that just after 3 years of its introduction it had to be replaced. On number 1 is the Novgorod Monitor ship. It was commissioned in 1874. The ship featured a controversial ship design, with a round hull, which makes it gain the reputation of one of the world's worst ships on history. This 2,500-ton vessel had 6 steam engines that drove 6 propeller screws, and it was largely immune to ramming, which was a common naval tactic of the time, because of its design. However, its circular hull played havoc with the rudder ability to steer the ship. It was unsteerable in a storm, and even in calm weather, it took the ship 45 minutes for the ship to make a full circle. Along with that, there were problems with the gun which was loaded on it as well. The guns had an exceptionally slow rate of fire, at 10 minutes per shot, and the locks were bad, causing them to rotate on their own recoil. The material used to build it was also not good and also had poor workmanship, which causes many problems along the way, and it also had a ventilation problem which even so many tries couldn't be fixed. Overall, the Novgorod deserved its title as one of the worst ship to ever existed. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.